All right, welcome back, THP, JDax, illiterate. We're gonna take a few minutes, record a quick video for you guys, and we're gonna go kind of recap Shaft Up that I just got back from. But first things first, we want to congratulate J-Lou for completing Team Prestige.
Yep. Magnificent 12. We're ready. We're ready to take on the Zoo Crew and go the hideaway.
Yeah. Ice Baby.
I'm busting, super fired up about
dropping the beats.
Yeah. It was a phenomenal win by him. Great entry.
Yeah.
Like, that was maybe like one of the most entertaining contests to watch, I think.
Oh, yeah. No
Definitely.
doubt.
I definitely thought that was awesome. Everybody that participated.
Yeah. So, anyway, I mean, Dax is gonna interview me real quick, so we can give a quick recap of Shaft Up, and I'll share some more thoughts there. Anyway, so
Shaft Up 3.
Yep.
This guy just got back, so let's. I know that people. It was a phenomenal follow. The tour, the fitting. The next day when y'all played the phenomenal the match play war that y'all had. If you just had to think about one thing from the event for people that have never gone to something like this or been fortunate enough to win, what's the one thing that you took away from this Shaft Up?
Well, I think the one thing I probably took away is just the power of a true fitting. Okay. Having specs and the meticulous effort that Danny and Rob put into building Jordan and I's clubs. And just that personal attention from somebody that's that good. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a total game changer for me. The more and more that I start swinging these clubs and having, like I say, you already saw the difference with the driver this past weekend.
Yeah, the driver shaft that Danny gave you is like totally different guy off the tee.
Yeah.
In fact, he hit every fairway on the front nine that I saw him. En route to a 42, but it was night and day from what that hazardous driver that you did use in that Sub-Zero. So
yeah. So I mean, just the fact that you get to spend time with somebody like Danny, and kind of give your own confessional, so to speak, as far as like what you feel like your swing thoughts and flaws are. And then just having him really spend some time and going through all that. I mean, that was probably my biggest takeaway is if you've never gone through a fitting, definitely go through that. If you have the chance to sign up for a Shaft Up where you can meet Danny, you need to do it. It's a fantastic event.
So, you and Jordan did a great job of updating us on the forum so we could live sort of vicariously through you, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to try to take that to the hideaway. I thought that y'all did a really good job. Not as good as Danny. Danny was killing y'all with the updates. Not as
Danny
good as
was a machine on the course.
Machine. I don't even know.
I couldn't keep up.
I know. I mean, Danny's already posted that, man. If there was what was the coolest thing about the fitting process? I've seen the new irons. You got, what did they give you? TaylorMade
P790s.
P790s.
Yeah.
Great irons in comparison to the Strixon 565s you were gaming. I've spent some time hitting your...
Yeah, you hit them pretty good. They're not fit to you, but you hit them nice.
They weren't fit to me. And the recoil shaft he put you in
is
a lot stiffer than probably something I need. I will say this, if you hadn't had a chance to hit those irons, in my opinion, TaylorMade has been hit or miss on irons here in their last several cycles, but these are really, really good.
Yeah.
Especially if you play something like the 565s like he was playing, or if you are playing something like that, the Apex CF16s. Hopefully I'll see some CF18s in December.
That's right.
I hope
you see some too. I hope I get to see them when you get back.
Yeah, I hope so too. Just talk about the fitting process just a little bit. How did you hit it? Were you a little nervous? I mean, what was Danny saying to you in that process?
Well, you have to remember I turned my ankle the day before during the pre-round.
There was an injury, I forgot. Yeah,
and so I was actually really worried after it happened because it was really sore like immediately after, and I heard it pop, and it's my left ankle. But I toughed out the round. If you I'm not going to bore you with all the stuff I've already put in the recap, but I was worried about that going into it.
Everybody read about how you gutted that out.
But Lindsay hooked me up with ibuprofen, and I was good to go. So I was not going to let that deter me from swinging the club like I normally do. But anyway, so what Danny did is he had me, hit a few shots with my current irons so he could get a kind of good baseline as far as ball speed, dispersion, that sort of thing. And then he originally put me in the Recoil 125 F5s, which I had a little bit of trouble, filling the head on that. And so we moved to the Recoil 110 F5s, and then, it was like boom, light switch went off. Had me hit a few shots with that, and then that gave him a baseline that we were getting with those. And, it was like boom, I could see a really good dispersion rate, on the TrackMan, and then actually a good increase in ball speed there as well. So it's kind of a win-win all the way around, during that fitting. So my fitting was pretty quick. Jordan's was a little bit more tricky.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he probably sees a lot of guys that come in there with a big aggressive swing like me. So, the F5s, I kind of had an idea that that's probably the route we would go. It was just a matter of getting me in the right weight. Right. But, I mean, I was open to anything he was going to give me. Jordan, on the other hand, we couldn't be more opposite. Jordan, he's one that kind of de-lofts his clubs. You see me, I'm a really high ball hitter.
Yep.
A lot of spin with the irons, that sort of thing.
True.
So what we needed to do for me is try to lower that ball flight and get a little bit less spin so that I can maximize my my carry distance, because I'm not maximizing my carry distance at all with my irons. Jordan, on the other hand, was actually probably overdoing it. He was getting way more than what he should. So so the fitting process for him was to try to get him a little bit more launch and a little more spin so that he doesn't hit his irons too far. And so the process they went with him, and they actually tried him out with a recoil that was that they a lot of times, I think he mentioned, they start with like the ladies on, and was a little whippy. But it was kind of getting the job done as far as getting them a little more loft. But then they ended up going with, the F4s and hard stepping it once. And essentially that gave him a little bit more loft and a little bit more spin. He was generating a little bit more spin on those. And they even weakened the lofts on his clubs too for him. So that was kind of the process there to help get him in the the numbers that he needed to be as far as carry distance with his irons, and then also help me with mine as well.
That's awesome. I mean, because I know there's a lot of gearheads on that site that they're gonna love all that. So the next day, you get these tailor-made clubs, right?
Yep.
And the next day, y'all get to go play. You get paired up with Lindsay.
Yep.
And Jordan gets paired up with Danny.
Yep.
And we watched that event go back and forth. It was a phenomenal match play, in my opinion. It was a fun. I hadn't had that much fun watching a thread since Hype, I think.
Or maybe, the Hype was good.
Hype was really good.
Well, THP Bristol, the Budget Golf Championship.
Well, Budget Golf until they got to Dub's thread. Nobody
disaster at Dub's thread.
The disaster. What hole was that? Like 13?
Yeah, 13 or 14.
J. Lou, if you're listening, get in the practice bunker, son. We have work to do come December.
Yeah, well, speaking of practice bunkers, not to interrupt the story, but
are you totally hijacking my interview?
I've got to hijack it for just a second. Dax looks at me about a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And he goes, Mike, I can't be fit into a sure out. This didn't happen.
Not that the sure out's not a phenomenal product, and Cobra, who is on the Team Prestige,
he's gaming one.
He's got one in his bag right now. I feel really bad about it.
But Dax is like, I'm not gaming the sure out no matter what they tell me. So you're going to have to work with me. And the bunker plays really improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what he's telling you, J. Luke, get in there and practice in the bunkers. Get used to it. Open the face. Figure it out. He's gotten a lot better in the last 3 or 4 weeks. There's definitely been some improvement there.
So Lindsay looked like Lindsay. Let me get back. He hijacked. Lindsay, she can golf her ball around, can't she?
Man. She played in college, and she missed, I think, 3 fairways the entire trip. The first 2 I saw her miss was on the pre-fitting round, and that's because they were fairway bunkers. And the last fairway I saw her miss was actually funny. Is I had given her, Jordan and I both play the Strixon Z-Star ball. Mm-hmm. So I told Lindsay, I was like, you need to try this ball. It's great. I think, because she plays a Bridgestone, and she's like, I'll try one. So I gave her one of mine. And I can't remember what hole it was, but she hadn't hit a bad shot off the tee really the entire time that we were there. And she finally kind of blocked one out there to the right. Mm-hmm.
in the drink.
And she looks at me and she's like, just so sad, and she's like, Mike, I'm so sorry, but I just lost that ball you gave me. And I was like, it's okay, we got a bunch. But man, she can golf her ball.
Danny looked like he was.
Dude, Danny, JB warned me. He said Danny can go low, and I can definitely see it. Danny hits the ball far, and he's got a great iron game. He had gamed a new super double secret probation putter that we can't talk about, that he had custom made for him.
Really?
There can be no pics on pics that we could take of it. But Danny putted the ball pretty well. It was the first time that he'd got to game that putter, so he's a little bit of a feeling out process. He hit a couple good wedges in there too, man. But he played the par fives like a stud.
So final thoughts. Before, I got two unrelated probably questions to the event. So final thoughts about the whole experience.
Well, I mean, man, there's no words to really describe it, but you take two regular guys like you and I, and they get essentially. I mean, we got treated like kings. UST took great care of Jordan and I, but I mean, we got the Tour Pro treatment. I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, that's all I can really describe it as. Tour Pro treatment with the meticulous effort that Danny went through to fit Jordan and I, and then he and Rob going through and custom building our clubs. From swing weighting to lofts and lies, the links of the club. I mean, just the whole process. I mean, it's like being in the back of a tour van and them custom making you a club that you get to go out and play with the next day. It's just insane.
So of course JB was with y'all for this trip, right?
Yep.
Right. So what is the story around this energy drink situation?
So when we came in to watch Danny's presentation, and there's a picture of this, so if you guys go back and you look where I took pictures of the presentation, JB has two energy drinks sitting over there.
Two-fisted?
And he's like, so I kind of give him a little bit of grief about it. He's like, man, yeah, I got to have the energy drinks. But the first one that he's drinking that morning, I mean, he's like throwing it down, whatever. And then all of a sudden he pops open this other one. And I think it was the one that was like in the orange can, but he looks at Jordan and I. He's like, man, this tastes like garbage. And that was not the actual words he used, or the word he used. Use your imagination. But he, like a champ, I mean, he put it down. So JB is an energy drink person, and he said he's got to have them.
I wouldn't see that. Last question for any THB event. How was the food?
Oh man, the food. My favorite meal was definitely the barbecue that we had during the actual tour of the place.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of the place, but I told JB and everybody there that it was the second best barbecue, and I mean a close second. The best barbecue I've ever had was from Jack's Tex Barbecue in Kansas City, but this was a very close second. It was absolutely fantastic. Just that was my favorite thing. But I mean, all the food we had was great.
Okay, well that is Shaft Up number 3, and I think we have one participant from each Shaft Up is going to participate in the grand finale.
Yep, the grand finale. So the way I understand it is, I think it's November 17th, 18th, and 19th. UST will fly one participant of each of those events. So be between myself and Jordan, and then all the other participants of the other two Shafts Up, as well. So one of us will get chosen to go, and we'll play golf with Danny and the other two winners at Callaway Gardens, just outside of Atlanta.
Dude, awesome.
And it's all paid for again. So I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some more great food, some more great match play, I'm sure, and just overall more fun.
Great time. So look, if Shaft Up comes back, hopefully it comes back next year.
Yeah.
I'm totally down. I'm gonna sign up, compete in any contest I can get into, because it sounded like you had a phenomenal time.
It was incredible.
What do you have? There's a piece of paper folded here. I don't know what. It's been double secret. Freddie, the panda, my man Freddie, who has followed my journey. He's followed my scores since I won contest 4. And he sends me like drills to do.
And didn't you say he sent you like a PM, kind of coming down on you recently?
Yeah,
for
man,
the
it
driver?
was some tough love, man. Like he was like, "What's going on with your driver? You're not hitting enough fairways." And I was just like, I mean, this was off a really good round too. It wasn't even a terrible round,
Yeah.
and I was like, God, he is into this. So I appreciate it, Freddie. I mean, he gave me a drill to try the other night to stop coming over the top. I've been working on it in the man cave in trying to work it out, and maybe you'll see me drop the ball a little bit better Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. So Freddie made a post asking about, hey, if you were the captain, what are your pairings? So
So we're talking about the Granddaddy.
we're going to talk about the Granddaddy.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about the Granddaddy.
And speaking of the Granddaddy, before we get into if I was Mike Dean, who my pairings would be.
Because that's the game we're going to
I noticed you were trying to get Finley. You called him out for lurking in the forum, and you tried to get him to come out of the cave. And finally, I think today he posted something.
He did. We were posting the Granddaddy thread, and if you're not following along with the Granddaddy thread, you need to be. But I saw that he was in the thread, and I made a comment like, when is the zoo crew going to get announced? And I hope Finley gets in, and I know that Finley's going to get in, but I wanted to see if I could get a reaction out of him, and then you ruined my sort of troll attempt, and so with the post right after that. But yeah, the Granddaddy thread, now the team's complete. We're trying to keep that at the top of the form. It's a fun follow. So get in there and click that follow button if you have the app or whatever. It's fun.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll go on to my picks. So
you're gonna play. So you're gonna be the cat. So you're gonna play the same question that Freddie asked, which was, if you're the captain.
Yeah. If you're the captain, what are your pairings?
So this is why that you asked me.
I asked in the thread,
updates,
update of handicap updates and that sort of thing,
right.
and you gave me a pretty good rundown of everybody. So I've tried to match everybody as best I can. So
what are your pairings?
So the first thing I tried to do is alleviate some concerns, and you mentioned to me that our friend Mark M778 was a little worried about the length of the course because you're going to be playing from about 6,600 yards.
Right.
Mark's kind of a mid to high handicapper. 17.5 was the last update we had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair him with Nate, who I know is an absolute bomber of the driver, and it's one of his strengths. So, during, best ball, or not best ball, but during the shamble portion, because it's shamble, best ball, alternate shot. I mean, I think Nate's going to be a great match, great partner with him to help just make Mark feel relaxed, and that's really what I'm going for.
Mark last night, I texted a little bit with Mark. He said, I hope. His exact words was, "I hope that I'm able to help us win." And I said, "Hope is not a strategy. You are going to help us win." So, Mark, I like that. I like putting Nate with Mark. I like where you at so far.
So that's where I'm at with Mark and Nate. And Nate, I think, is currently playing to a 2 handicap. So that's kind of my reason behind there, and I think that'll help Mark feel a little bit more relaxed and maybe take a little bit of the length portion of that off of him. Second, another person that mentioned length may be an issue for them. I think you mentioned they typically play from about 5,700 yards, and I could be mixing up Mark and Cobra. But I'm going to put Cobra with Pringles because I've played with Pringles. I know you want to play with Pringles, but I'm thinking of the best interest. But I think you're going to be happy with your parent.
Okay.
So, Cobra again. He said, "Hey, a little worried about the distance." So I've played with Pringles. He's a long ball hitter. He can carry the driver a long way. He's a great ball striker, and I think you mentioned Cobra's short game. He feels like pretty decent. So. And I know that's something Pringles typically has mentioned. He's talked a lot about putting and chipping and stuff like that. So I think this will be a great pairing, putting the two of them together, and again, just help Cobra just go out there and feel like, hey, I can go out and just golf my ball like normal.
Okay, all right, I can see that. I think that Pringles and I could be a formidable pairing. I mean,
I'm not trying to be Tom Watson here, like sort of like taking that into
you remember how awesome the Road Warriors were in 1988? That could be me and Pringles, but go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead. Hawk and Animal.
So next, I'm going to put the captain out there, and I'm going to pair him with Haso. The reason I like this pairing is because Haso's our highest cap. but he's already beat Finley. That's how he got in from the hype event. He's already beat Finley once.
He did.
And who better to pair him with?
Day one.
Who better to pair him with than another guy who knows how to win like Mike Dean?
There's nobody who knows how to win like the captain. Okay?
So
the captain just wins.
The captain, he's playing some of the best golf of his life.
He is.
And, I see Hasso out there, or Hasso, I think maybe was how he...
I just call him Alex now because, I don't even know how this is going to work. Should we call each other by our call signs, our code names, our real names? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, so anyway, I really like this kind of like a, mid-high cap pairing here. I think that team could do a lot of damage. Next, I'm going to put you with It's Opening Day.
I like it already. If I don't get, I like this. Go ahead.
So
I like it.
It's Opening Day. Finds a lot of fairways. Mm-hmm. He's a 12.5. You're playing at a 10-2.
It's 10-0.
10-0 is what you just updated to.
Right now, yeah.
So I really like this pairing. I think it's Opening Day. He's trending in the right direction. I think your game is starting to come around pretty good, especially the sand. The putter's been really good for you lately.
Yeah, I've been putting lights out.
The iron play has been fairly solid for you.
Yeah.
The driver's been a little tricky lately, but I think if you just
wonky.
if you just slow it down and stop trying to murder the ball, I think you're going to be just fine.
Right.
But I really like that pairing there. I think that's going to be. I think you're going to be. I told you you'd be happy.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Next, Blake Hall and John D. Blake Hall's playing at a 5.7. John D's at a 15. The reason I like this pairing is John D, I think, has told you that he's a calming influence.
Yeah.
And he's got a big stick. He's a long hitter.
Yeah.
Blake mentioned a little bit of concern. He's a lower cap. He's mentioned some concerns, being from Green Bay, thinks that rust could be an issue. So we've got a calming influence in John D, a guy who can hit the ball a long way. And we got a low cap in Blake Hall. I think he's going to go out there and do just fine. So I like this kind of a low-mid pairing. We talked a little bit about that during
during THP. We always like the low mids. We like the low mids.
Yeah. And so lastly, I'm going to put J. Lou with B. Josh. And the reason I like this is because J. Lou mentioned he's been having some issue keeping the ball in play. In his last post, I kind of, stalked him a little bit on the forum because he hadn't been talking much, I don't think, in the, as far as how the game was. And he's, the last one in, so he's kind of new. We're trying to find out more about him. But he's a 13.2. B. Josh, fresh off his big, the fantasy golf win, Tour Exotics, all that. Anyway, he's playing at a 14.5. But B. Josh has mentioned he's got a solid top end of the bag. And, that takes away kind of the pressure of J-Lou, like, hey, I'm having some trouble keeping the ball in play and finding the fairway, so we're going to put you with somebody who feels pretty strong about the top end of their bag, like B. Josh. So that's my pairing. What are your thoughts?
You know what? You did great. Look, the captain's going to put us in the right spot to win. We're going to defend this belt. Yep. Hopefully I get who I want to get in singles, and we have a whole lot of fun.
And who do you want in singles?
I'm not afraid. I know that if I were to be paired with Finley and lose, that I will never hear the end of it on Twitter. I know that the stakes could be high because the belt could be in the balance. My Twitter feed could be in the balance. I don't care. I think he's great. He's a great dude, and I would love nothing more than to beat him. So, and maybe the captain makes that happen, maybe not. I cannot wait until the Zoo Crew is announced, so we can come back and start
trolling them on Twitter.
Well, no, I'm not trolling. Just because I send a bunch of text tweets to them about a purple and gold Truvis doesn't mean I'm bothering them. I don't think, or stalking them or whatever.
Well,
I don't think so.
You got anything else on the agenda? Anything you want to get off your chest before we close up shop here?
No, man. We're gonna be back before the Grandaddy once we know who the Zoo Crew is gonna be.
Yep.
Follow our journey in the Grandaddy thread.
Yep.
And hit us up with some questions about how our game's going or whatever. And Freddie, I know you're watching my scorecards when I post them, so. Y'all stay tuned.
Yep. Get out there and support Team Prestige and the Grandaddy thread. I'm looking forward to follow that along and hearing all the stories about what you think when we get back. So anyway, we'll talk to you next time, THP.
Later, guys.
Hit them straight.